Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My dear students, welcome to your speaking skills class. Today, as I've promised you, we're going to review the main speaking skills that we have covered so far. And our sixth class is going to be a practical one, since we will have different kind of exercises related to the speaking skills that we have taken. So we will start first with our, chronologically. We will start with how to start short conversations with the strangers. As you can remember, we have taken such steps, spoken advices and steps in the first chapter. Let us start first, how to make and how to start short conversation with the strangers in these 5 or 6 or 7 different situations. Okay, for example, in the final exam, I may ask you, how can you make a short conversation or start a short conversation with someone who stops at the bus stop? So if I ask you, or if I provide you or show you a kind of a picture of a bus stop, you need to say, "It is hot today, isn't it?" So in such situation, the other speaker will get involved with you, with your conversation. So this is a very good way how to start a short conversation with a stranger at the bus stop. "It is hot today, isn't it?" How about if you, for example, let us see this, for example, this situation. You are the post office and you want to start a short conversation. The best way to say it is, "This line is really slow, isn't it? This line is really slow, isn't it?" At the wedding party, if you visit, for example, a foreigner wedding party with your friend, and you're going to actually a short conversation, so you can say, "It is nice to have a chance to celebrate, isn't it?" In the supermarket, you can also say, "These tomatoes look terrible, don't they?" On a bus stop, if you face, or just by chance met someone on bus and you want just to start a short conversation, you should say, "What country are you from?" لكن ما بسأل how old are you, okay, or what's your name directly. This is impolite way. So you need to start, "What country you from?" "Oh, it's a hot weather." Okay, so this is a very good way how to start a conversation with the stranger on the bus. If you, for example, anywhere, some people, you may ask some people for money. "Can you lend me some money, please?" Finally, in a museum, "Oh yeah, this is a wonderful painting, isn't it?" So if you actually meet some people, the strangers, especially strangers, in such situations, I prefer to use these expressions to start a short conversation with them. Okay, so in the final exam, you expect me to give you kind of example or situation, explaining to you that you're meeting someone, a stranger, on the bus stop, or maybe in a museum, or in a bus, or maybe in a supermarket. How can you start short conversation with? Okay, or maybe I may give you 4 choices. Okay, like according to the situation, what is the best way to start a short conversation with such a stranger? So if I, for example, give you a situation in the bus stop, it's wrong to say that, "Oh, these tomatoes look terrible, don't they? No, because we use actually this one only when actually we're in a supermarket, because tomatoes are only existent in a supermarket, right? Also, if you're, for example, at the post office, you can't say, for example, like in the wedding or somewhere, like what country you're from, if you're asking someone who is in, for example, on the post office, okay, or maybe in the wedding. You need to start a short conversation with a stranger with some polite questions. Polite questions, okay? Let us move on and try to do the exercise by yourself. Just imagine yourself in a situation, تخيل نفسك في موقف, like one of these situations, and ask yourself how to start a short conversation with someone. So you need to know these expressions to do well in your final exam. That's good. Let's move on. Okay, now we have also, as you have noticed in the last slide, there was something called the tag questions. And we have talked about the tag questions, am I right? So we have two kinds of questions with the tag questions. First one, unsure of the answer, real question. The food is awful, isn't it? Right? But if you are sure of the answer, so you are asking here, this is a real question. The food is awful, isn't it? Okay? The food, while if you are sure of the answer, you have to say the food is awful, isn't it? So you know here from your voice, the speaker voice, that he is sure about the answer. Okay, but he just wants to start a small talk. Okay, let us see the second one. The second one under unsure of the answer, okay? Or real question. You don't see any French fruit, do you? So I'm asking here a real question. Do you see any fresh fruit? Okay, but in number two, when I am sure of the answer, look at my voice. You don't see any fresh fruit, do you? You don't see any fresh fruit, do you? So here's, I'm not asking actually. Here just I'm trying to start a small talk, okay? And I am sure about the answer, okay? Number three, under the unsure of the answer, real question. There isn't any yogurt, is there? Is there? So you are asking now, just because we don't know. Is there any yogurt? So this is how my voice indicates to the listener. Okay, but in question, in sentence number three, in question number three, under the sure of the answer, look at how the way I say it. There isn't any yogurt, is there? Is there? So I'm sure there isn't. Okay? So I want you to practice, to go back to the tag questions audio, the CD, and try to listen and differentiate between the tag questions that carry real questions and the tag question that carries a just a short answer. Okay? So maybe in the exam we don't know how can I do it, but I'll try to do my best to ask you a question about how to say these sentences, because I want to hear when your voice goes up and goes down. فأنا بدي أحاول to test لأختبر متى صوتك يرتفع وينخفض في نفس الوقت. لأن هناك مثل ما هو في الكتاب, according to the textbooks, there is a difference. هناك اختلاف ما بين the unsure answers with sure answer, right? The unsure answers بيكون الصوت شماله مرتفع أو الsure answer بيكون منخفض. Okay? Okay, maybe in the exam I will ask you to introduce someone. For example, here is I will give you a situation and I will ask you to introduce someone, or maybe you will hear someone introduce another person and you need to respond. فممكن في الامتحان يكون عندك إنه شخص بيقدم بشخص إلك وأنت لازم ترد عليه في العبارة المناسبة. For example, Mr. Student, I would like you to meet Mr. Board. Okay, oh, I can say, Mr. Student, this is Mr. Board, a friend of mine. Okay? Or Mr. Student, have you met Mr. Board? Your answer should be, you should speak very well. You should say, nice to meet you, glad to meet you, pleased to meet you. So this is the correct answer for such situation. This is the correct response, the right way. فممكن في الامتحان يكون على هذه الشاكلة. You will hear someone introduce someone else to you, and the computer asks you to respond. So you need to memorize the way you should respond. Nice to meet you, glad. لأن هذه العبارات هي ثابتة. ما في يعني أشكال مختلفة عنها. ف90 أو 95% من الشعر الأمريكي أو الإنجليزي use these expressions. بيستخدم هذه العبارات. فأرجو أن you need to memorize them. Okay? أرجو منكم في حفظ هذه العبارات وتطبيقها. So you need to actually to imagine someone like another speaker and start just to make a short conversation. You introduce him and you respond. Okay? Okay, let's move. Because our class is about speaking skills, I want you to speak. I want to hear you. Okay? Well, some of you may ask me about your accent. Well, if you actually listen carefully, you will get the accent. Just try to imitate me. تقليد. Try to emulate me. Just listen to me, listen to the audio, and try to use the reductions and just speak as you can. So these are very short conversations. Okay? So I want you to memorize them. Okay? Excellent. So once if someone introduces you and say nice to meet you, you need to end that conversation, right? To put an end to that conversation. You can use different ways to end a conversation. Ways like, well, I gotta go, I got to run, I've got to run, I've got to run, I've got to run, well, I've got to run, okay? Or, goodbye. So this is a good way also to end a conversation. See you later. See you on Friday. See you on Saturday. Okay, these are different ways how to end a conversation. Okay, have a good day. Have a good weekend. لاحظوا الآن صوتي كيف ارتفع. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. هنا بتعبر عن انك انت you're a polite person, you're very kind, شخص لطيف. هذه أكثر العبارات أيضا we use in English to end a conversation. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. So these are some ways, or 4 ways, maybe there are some others, but I want you actually to understand according to your textbook, right? To go back and try to memorize them. Try to make short conversations with your friend, okay? Maybe on the blackboard, maybe on the chatting programs, on the messenger, maybe on the PP when you use your phone. You can just start a conversation and end a conversation, use these expressions. English needs practice. To speak in English very well, fluently, you need to practice. You need to practice, do a lot of exercises. Okay, no one can teach you how to speak. But you can teach yourself how to speak, right? Let us move on. Okay, expressing thanks. They seem very easy, okay, for you. But because they are easy, you need to memorize them. Okay? I will repeat this as much as I can. Memorization for such expressions, okay? And practice. Okay, so expressing thanks. For example, you give someone something like a gift, or your pen, or maybe your textbook, or maybe your umbrella, or whatever. You buy something for your friends, like sandwiches, mochas, Starbucks, whatever. You buy something for your friends. They usually say thanks, or thank you very much, thank you so much. That was very kind of you. How thoughtful. How thoughtful means just like very kind of you. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. So all of these expressions people use to thank you if you give them something, or if you do something good to them. Okay? But your response, once you hear thank you or thank you very much, كيف لازم ترد؟ Oh, you're welcome. لاحظوا كيف؟ You're welcome. حتى your facial expressions, تعابير وجهك لازم تبين على الكلام. Oh, you're welcome. مع ابتسامة أيضا. ابتسامة مو عيب. So, you're welcome. أو do not mention it. ما عليك. So there are two ways actually to respond to expressing thanks. Either you say, you're welcome, oh, don't mention it. Okay, ما عليك. So these are two good ways how to respond to expressions of thank. Okay? Okay, someone, for example, did a mistake. He did or she did a mistake. He or she did a mistake, and he or she wants to apologize. Apology معناها يتأسف. So someone came to you and he made a mistake, or he was guilty, or just did some faults or whatever, and I am very sorry. Excuse me, or forgive me. It was my fault. So these are very common ways how to express your apology. Okay, how to give an apology. For example, you are too late to your exam, okay? Or you should say, oh, I am very sorry, Professor, because I am too late. Excuse me, forgive me, it was my fault. So, now, كيف لازم ترد على هذه العبارات؟ Okay? Oh, no problem. You should be very nice. Maybe you should say, no problem. See the way I move my hand? أيضا البادي language مهمة. No, that no problem. هذه أيضا اللغة لازم نعيشها. تعايش اللغة مهم من أجل استيعابها، وأن نقدر إنه كيف نتعامل ونتفاعل معها. So you need to coexist with the language. تتعايش مع اللغة. كيف نتعايشها؟ من خلال خلق بعض المواقف اللي نضع نفسنا فيها. So you need to create some situations to use your language storage. So, no problem. Oh, I am very sorry. You can say also, that's okay, that's alright. لاحظوا كيف صوتي. That's okay, that's alright. يعني ما عليك. Okay? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So someone say, oh, I am very sorry, it was my fault. You should reply, don't worry about it. لاحظوا كيف أنا كمان مسألة لفظ بعض الحروف أو بعض الكلمات. Don't worry about it. ما حكيت don't worry about it. بالعادة the sound T in English is weak. The sound T is weak. لاحظوا don't worry. أنا هنا حكيت don't worry كأنه T ولا هي ملفوظة. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. ما حكيت don't worry about it. Okay, so you can say it. لكن if you want to imitate the English speaker, especially the American speakers, you need to say don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. About it. فالتاء يتكاد انها تكون مش ملفوظة. Okay. So those were actually some situations that that you may face in your life, in your daily English life. So you need to memorize these expressions and try to speak them out. Okay. Here we have kind of another actually exercise. So it asks you to work with a partner, maybe a friend, yourself. Maybe you can make yourself two people. Have a very short conversations for each situation. One person begins with a tag question, with a voice going down at the end, and the other persons use the keywords. Okay, so with the words goes down. Situation here for it gives you an example. Two people are at bus stop. This is how can we make a question for the final exam. I will give you kind of a situation. I will explain to you that there were two people at the bus stop. These are, maybe I'm not going to give you a keywords, but you have to remember how to start it. How to start a conversation. So it's between student A and B. Oh, the bus is late again, isn't it? Yes, it is. Isn't it? The bus is too late, isn't it? لاحظوا كيف صوتي كان goes down. Because you know the answer, صح? Because you know the answer. Yes, no question tag. إذا كانت الجواب yes أو no هو بيكون بالعادة بيكون the voice goes down. Okay? So the bus is late again, isn't it? So you're not asking. You know that the bus is late. Okay, right here. Two people are in the produce section of a market, and they are talking about tomato, not very ripe, and give you these cool words. So, oh, the tomatoes are not very ripe, aren't they? No. So, see, the tomatoes are not very ripe, aren't they? لاحظوا كيف صوتي بينزل نزول في النهاية. Goes down. Okay? Tomatoes are not very ripe today, aren't they? The answer is no. Two people are in line at a supermarket. They're talking about line really long. The line is very long, isn't it? ما حكيت isn't it. لاحظوا فرق الصوت. لما حكيت the line is very long, isn't it? So I know the answer. أنا بعرف الجواب لأنه هو بالفعل الخط سريع طويل. لكن إذا حكيت بهاي نبرة الصوت the line is really long, isn't it? I'm asking you. ليش؟ لأنه صوتي ارتفع في النهاية. إذا كان الصوت منخفض في الإنجليزي في النهاية في التاج question أنت ما بتسأل. صح في علامة سؤال لكن هنا ما في سؤال because you know the answer. بينما إذا ارتفع الصوت if the voice goes up it means you are asking. Is that clear? Hope so. Okay. Two people are at a party. Okay, the music loud. طبعا أنت في party والmusic loud. عالي شو بتحكي؟ The music is loud, isn't it? Yes, it is. because I know that the music is loud, so my voice should goes down. Two students are walking out of a class. Class really hard. Like this class maybe? We don't know. Class really hard. Yes. Okay, the conversation should be like this. The class is really hard, isn't it? The class is really hard, isn't it? Okay, the class is really hard, isn't it? So, yes. Okay. So this is how to make a tag questions. When your voice goes down, you're sure about the answer. Okay, you're sure about the answer in this way. So try please to listen to the audio again and again and try to practice the tag questions intonation. They're very important. I will find a way how to test your tag question intonation maybe in the final exam. I will find a way. We will talk later on about the how to make a how we're going to have exam with the speaking skills, how to test your speaking skills. Okay, but I do my best to test your speaking instead of only intellectual thinking. Okay, let us move on. Okay, here one of the chapters we have talked about the directions. We've talked about the directions, how to give a direction, to turn right, left, go straight. When you say something is across the bank, across the road, in front of. Okay, so these are some of the questions that you may hear right here. These are some of the questions that you may hear in the exam, like how can I get to the bank? Right here we have the post office, banks, Chinese restaurant, bakery, library, drugstore, and here the laundrette and grocery store, the park, the parking lot, the department store, and Susan's apartment. So once you see this picture, actually it's a full picture, a very big one. So someone may ask you the following questions. How can I get to the bank? Could you tell me where the library is? Is Susan's apartment far from here? I'm looking for department store. In what direction is the grocery store? لاحظوا هاي all of these questions are ways to ask a direction, to ask for a direction. The answers may vary like this way. It depends on the direction. For example, the post office, let me use the green one. The post office is across the street from the bank. لاحظوا وين البنك؟ شو استخدم عبارة across the street. The post office is across the street from the bank. Across the street. من خلال الرسم أنت تفهم معناه في العربي. I'm not going to translate. Okay? So the post office is across the street, هذا شارع, from the bank. Okay. The bakery is down the street from the post office. Where's the bakery? It's right here. Where's the post office? Here is. So the bakery is down the street from. انت هنا واقف مثلا فبحكي لك is down the street from the office, the post office. So the bakery is down the street from the post office. هو في أسفل في آخر الشارع من البوست office. أنت الآن في البوست office. It's down the street from the post office. The laundromat is next to beside, or next to معناها beside the grocery store. هذا الgrocery store بجانب. So the laundromat is next to the grocery store. The last one, the drugstore is around the corner from the laundromat. وين هو الدراج هذه هي. هو موجود وين؟ is around the corner. هذه هي الكورنر. أو is around the corner from the laundromat. Okay, على زاوية اللوندرمات. هاي معناها. So these are some of the questions that we may use, and answers also we may use to answer questions about directions. So here are some ways to ask and some ways to answer these questions. So please do ask yourself about how to get to a place. Okay, let us now create kind of a conversation. For example, your student A wants to take the bus, student B is a bus driver, and we should have a conversation. Let us now fill in. Answers may vary, okay? ممكن الإجابات تختلف من شخص إلى آخر، لكن خلينا نتقيد فيما هو موجود في التكستبوك. Excuse me, does this bus go to the bank? No. You need to take, or you need bus number 18. Where do I get to? You will get to 15, okay? Bus number 15. How much does it cost? Or how much is that? It costs you $5. Thanks, no problem. Do you remember these words? How to answer the questions or the statements of ask, how to respond to them, how to respond to statements of thanking, of thanks. How much is that? كم ذلك? It costs you, or it is $5 or 5 riyals. Okay, so please do make such creative conversations. They are very short. It's just like, 3-4 sentences and you'll be fine. Okay. Reduction and was a very basic section in our classes. Wherever you find reductions, you need to understand what does reduction means. What I mean by this question is it helpful for us to use the reductions? Yes. Reduction is very helpful to improve your spoken language. أنا ما بحكي written language. Reduction rules or aspects is very important for your English. It makes you understand your language better. Okay? So you need to understand the long form and the short form. Why do I need to understand both of them? Because you have to write in long form, but you have to speak with the short forms. Okay. For example, let us start with the first one. Do you have, لاحظوا الآن كيف الفرق لما استخدم long form ولما استخدم short form. الآن long form. Do you have any pets? Do you have any pets? لاحظوا لما حكيت الجملة كانت كل كلمة إلها حقها في النطق. لكن في السبوكن أمريكان إنجليش شو بنستخدم؟ بدل يو بتصير يا دية. لاحظوا الآن الجملة. Do you have any pets? دية. Do ya. Okay? Do ya. Do you have. هذه مهمة. What is your name? What is your name? الآن كيف تصير watcher. Watcher. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? حتى الآر هنا ما نقول إر. What's your name خطأ. مو واتشر، هذه شوة. الشوة لفظها What's your name؟ لاحظوا كيف صوت، ما قلت واتشر. What's your name؟ What's your name؟ What's your name؟ Cool. Number 3. Does this bus go to Geary Street؟ هذه with the long form. لكن لما نعمل short form reduction شو بصير؟ go to هتصبح gotta. Okay, gotta. Does this bus go to Geary Street؟ بس ما حكيت gotta to، لأنه هذه دمج ما بين go و to أصبحت gotta. Geary Street. Does this bus go to Geary Street؟ Does this bus go to Geary Street؟ Does this bus go to Geary Street؟ لاحظوا كيف؟ Do you want to see the kitchen؟ want to بتصير wanna. Do you wanna see the kitchen؟ Do you wanna لأنه يو حكينا شو لازم تكون؟ يا، فهنا لازم برضو تصير يا. دي ها دي الدو حتى مع الدو مع اليو بصير دي. Do you wanna see the kitchen؟ لاحظوا كيف الآن صرت أمريكي في اللهجة. Do you wanna see the kitchen؟ Do you wanna see the kitchen؟ Do you wanna see the kitchen؟ Okay, the last one. You have to have exact change. You have to have exact change. Okay? So you have to have exact change. شو بصير؟ have to بصير have to. You have to have. have to بصير have to. Okay? جملة. You have to have exactly change. You have to have exactly change. You have to have exact change. You have to have exact change. Okay? You have to. So that was a very interesting slide about reductions, how to use reductions. Okay? So I want you to understand them as they are here. Okay? Here we have a kind of a situation. I want you to study this situation. The situation is your class colleague, زميلك في هذا في الصف, is talking about a topic that you're unfamiliar with. بيحكي عن موضوع أنت ولا إلك دخل فيه ولا فهمه. You want to ask him or her for clarification. What should you say? شو يعني clarification? We have taken a lesson about how to ask for clarifications. So someone is speaking about something that you are unfamiliar with. You need to ask him some questions to clarify what he or she said. Okay, you can use the following. Excuse me, what was that again? فبالامتحان ممكن أجيب لك هذا situation. You need to remember these stuff for clarification. Excuse me, what was that again? لاحظوا كيف صوتي. Excuse me, what was that again? لاحظوا صوتي في الquestion لازم تنتبهوا للintonation يعني بحاسبكم عليه. What was that again? كيف الصوت مرتفع في الquestion. Excuse me لأنه في فاصلة لازم يكون وقت قصير. Excuse me, what was that again? أنتم كرروا بعدكم. Another one, or you can use the following. Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that? Okay, the voice is different, but the intonation is the same. أنا صوتي يختلف لكن ارتفاع نفس الشيء. ارتفاع, the rise of the intonation is the same. So, Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that? لاحظوا كيف الآن اختلاف الصوت، لكن الآلية نفسها إنه لازم يكون في ارتفاع في النهاية. أو ممكن نسأل بهذه الطريقة: How do you spell that? لاحظوا How do you spell that؟ نفس الشيء في الصوت. You should go up. You should raise your voice. Is that clear so far? Hope so. Let us now actually take turns with your partner. If you remember the yes-no questions, do you remember that, the intonation? With yes-no question, the answer is yes or no. The speaker's voice goes up twice. I will explain this to you. So we have two kinds of questions, right? We have yes-no question, we have either-or question. When the answer is yes or no, the voice speaker of the speaker goes up twice. For example, do you like chicken or soup? أنا ما خيرتك الآن. لاحظوا كيف صوتي. Do you like chicken or soup? Yes or no. لكن do you like chicken or soup? لاحظوا chicken أعلى كانت. Do you like chicken or soup? هذا هون بنسميه either or question. في ال yes no question you will answer yes or no. The speaker's voice goes up twice, مرتين. Okay, 2 times. لكن in either or question the answer is one of the 2 items. واحد من الخيارين from the question. Okay, the speaker's voice goes up on the first one and down the second one. Okay, for example, when you choose, okay, take turns with your partner and answer these questions. When you choose which intonation you want, yes, no question, or either or. When you answer, be sure to listen carefully to your partner's intonation so that you can use the correct intonation, the answer. لاحظوا الآن، بدي الآن أسأل سؤال yes, no question. Do they go shopping on Thursday or Fridays? Yes. لكن do they go shopping on Thursdays or Fridays? Does he like swimming or surfing? No. Does he like swimming or surfing? لاحظوا لما أسأل either or question وين بيكون الصوت عالي؟ على الآيتم الأول. مثلا الآن بدي أسأل yes no question. Do you live with your family or friend? Yes. Okay. لكن إذا بدي أخيره do you live with your family or friend? Do you live with your family or friend? Do you live with your family or friend? Yes no question الآن لسنتنس 4. On weekends, does he play football or basketball? Football or basketball. لاحظوا ارتفاع الصوت متساوي. Yes or no. On weekends, does he play football or basketball? لاحظوا الآن الخيار أو أنا خيرته. Okay? So please just do some of these exercises with yourself. Try to answer the questions by yourself. Okay? Let's move on now. Study this situation. One of your colleagues has got a very average, يعني وسط, so grade in his or her first exam. However, he or she is looking for a higher grade. Your role is to encourage him or her. Okay, the answer is what you should علامة السؤال لازم مش جملة هذه. What should you say? What should you say? بدك تشجع. عارفين شو هي expression of encouragement؟ أخذنا عنهم. So in this situation, I will ask you to speak now. What should you say? You can say, oh, wow, I hope so, right, okay, I wish you the same, really, yay, So you're using these stuff to actually encourage someone. Wow, gosh. So these are kind of expressions or you can use to encourage someone. Wow, I hope so. Okay? Gosh, yeah. So really, I hope so. So these are some of the encouragement expressions that you need to use to encourage someone. Here we have some stress words. Work with the partner, figure out which word needs to be stressed in each answer below. Underline the word. When you finish all 6, listen to the recording to see if you were right. Then practice saying the question and answers. What is your favorite sport? What is your favorite sport? I really like skiing. What is her favorite sport? لاحظوا الآن التركيز وين كان. هنا what's your favorite sport? الآن بركز على سبورت. إذا أنا بدي أسمع كلمة سبورت منك. I really like skiing. Okay, what is her favorite sport? I think she likes skiing too. لاحظوا التركيز هنا. أهمية الستريس ووردز هي بتساعدك على إنك تستوعب اللغة وأهم شيء بده يحكي المتكلم. Okay. Where did they come from? They come from Brazil. Where does he come from? هو ممكن لاحظوا الآن موقف التالي ممكن هو اعتقد اللي سألني هذا السؤال إنه I was talking about she بس هو بده he. So where does he come from? He come from Hong Kong. What are you going to take? I'm going to take economics. لاحظوا فالأشياء اللي بنعمل عليها set words the answer should also should be included in the answer. فإذا ما سألنا فيها وكانت stressed word في الإجابة لازم تكرر وتستخدم. Okay? We have here some kind of long form and short reductions. These short forms. Okay? What do you do? لاحظوا كيف صارت. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Huh? What do you? What do you? What do you? What do you? Huh? What do you? What هنا لاحظ التي. What ده الأو صارت يا. What do you? What do you? Okay. لاحظوا شو اللي صار في هذه الريدكشن مهم جدا. لاحظوا التي حكينا عنها ضعيفة. الأو أيضا ضعيفة في تصبح شوى واليو شوى يعني What do you? What do you do? What do you do? What are شو حكينا عنها؟ What you مثل what is what's your name? What you doing? Okay? What you doing? لاحظوا الإنج ما بنقول إنج في الإنجليزي. We don't pronounce the G لأنه هي nasal. What you doing? What you doing? Okay? هذا كان الاختصار هون. هذا في الثلاثة اللي هون. What kind of childhood was it? Kind of مثل kinda. What kind of childhood was it? What kind of childhood was it? What do you? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What did he 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 do? Okay? وانتوا في البيت كرروا مع هذه الأشياء. They used to احنا نحكي they used to live here. They used to live here. لكن في short form they used to live here. They used to. لاحظوا ال used to مرة أخرى الأو ضعيفة to. The last one, I'm going to buy a house. I'm gonna buy a house. Okay? Going to بصير gonna. gonna buy a house. So please try to memorize and practice these reduction forms and long forms and differentiate between them. Here we have kind of a situation. Your professor is asking you a question about your future plans, and I asked you actually maybe the last classes about about what's your future plan, right? Not plan, actual plan. مش طيارة خطة. So here he is saying, what do you say? So this is what he's saying. What's your future plan? So what should you say? I'm going to go to Georgetown University. I've already got an admission. لاحظوا الآن استخدام going to. أنا بعد ما أتخرج هيك هتحكي. I'm going to go to Georgetown University. I have already got an admission. لكن في الجملة الثانية I will pursue my higher education but I don't know where yet. لاحظوا going to نستخدمها مع very decisive future اللي هو you're already where you're going. أنت عارف وين رايح. لكن will عارف in general لكن nothing specific. Okay, here, for example, I may provide you with a lecture, with a picture, sorry, and I ask you to give it advice. So you look at this man, and you give him the following advice. You should wash our hands, we should wash our hands with liquid soap. Here, you should prevent disease. لاحظوا استخدام should. We shouldn't litter. لاحظوا should بعدها الفعل دائما بيجي مجرد ما عليه أي إضافة. هنا we should see a doctor promptly if we feel unwell. So that was a lesson for how to give an advice. That was like kind of a cartoonic one, but it's fine. It gives you a meaning, right? Finally, here we're talking about, if you remember the intonation with can or stress with can and cannot, okay? Stress with can and cannot. تذكروا هذا؟ أعتقد in the last class we've talked about it. Here are some examples, and I want you now to listen to the differences in this stress. I can ride a bike. لاحظوا بعد كان جاء الاسترس على الكلمات ride a bike. الفعل اللي بيجي بعد كان والمفعول به. لكن مع can't I can't ride a bike. لاحظوا الاسترس اجى على can't ride a bike. He can ride a horse. جاء بعد الفعل وعلى المفعول به بعد كان. لكن كان ما كان عليه ستريس. He can't ride a horse. He can't ride a horse. لاحظوا الاسترس جاء على كل كلمة. Can't ride a horse. هذا هو الديفرنس بين ما نستخدم can في النفي وفي الإيجاب. في النفي بيكون في عندنا stressed words اللي هو الفعل والمفعول به، بينما عفوا في الإيجاب، بينما في النفي بيكون can't الauxiliary verb والفعل والمفعول به. So hopefully you will find these exercises very precise and helpful. I have tried to summarize all the speaking skills we've covered in chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I want you to do your best to do the exercises and again. And please, if you have any question, just email me. Okay, I've started using my email now because it's activated. Thank you so much for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.